Welcome into another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey here on this Thursday afternoon. It is a Make It Rain edition.
Make it rain!
Edition of the show here on September the 14th as we get ready for week 3 in college football, week 2 in the National Football League. Kane Wommack of South Alabama will join in just a few minutes. We'll get him on. I'll talk to Kane a little bit as they get ready, the Jags get ready to go to Oklahoma State, play Mike Gundy, who's no longer 40, and the Cowboys. And
I'm a man. I'm 65. How long ago
40.
was that?
It's been a minute.
It's been 10 years at least. Huh?
Yeah, and
I like Mike Gundy, by the way.
I don't know him. I like the reporter that happened to. Jenny Carlson's a first-class reporter. She's fantastic.
He is a man of the people, though.
I talked to her about it at the Cotton Bowl. So it's been a while. When did Ole Miss and Oklahoma State play in the Cotton Bowl? 2009. It had happened before then, so it's been 15 years.
I would go. I got a chance. I never had met him. We coached against him one time. You know how it is when you coach against somebody. Coached against him a couple times. But went down to the Turquoise on vacation. I was at Alabama and went on vacations at the Turquoise in Orange Beach.
Yeah.
And who was over there sitting down there just killing some blue cans? my guy Mike Gundy.
How about that? Mike Gundy was the people at Turquoise.
At the Turquoise, holding court.
How about that? We're brought to you by Rain. Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams, natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
I am rocking on Thursday. It's the ice cold. I'm talking about ice cold peach nectarine.
Okay.
Just change your life right here. It tastes just like a Chilton County peach. It's in a can. It's good stuff. We don't do Louisiana peaches here.
I'm supposed to defend North Louisiana peaches, but after picking them, I don't want to defend them anymore. I want to forget them.
Yes.
And all the fuzz and the insecticides and the stuff that we get all over your face and in your eyes and in your nose. And it's 406 degrees.
Yep. And I want to welcome everybody to the Cooper Chevrolet chat. We'll have a rowdy, nice, fun crowd today. And just to remind you guys, during September, you can get 3.9% financing for 72 months on the new Chevy Silverado Crew Cab. And, Neal, I didn't know if you knew this or not, but no payments for 90 days.
No payments for 90 days, which basically gets you past the holidays.
It gets you there, man. We're here. But make sure you check out cooperchevrolet.com. And, guys, it doesn't matter where you're located because I've had this personal experience too. I lived in Arkansas. I bought 2 vehicles from him when we were in Arkansas. He literally drove the vehicles to me. They will deliver no matter where you're at. Call them. Get to Cooper Chevrolet. Call them. They'll take care of you. And they are the most competitive price on the market. So make sure you go check those guys out. They'll take care of you.
You got your picks ready for later?
I do.
You settled in?
I do. I got my picks ready. I got a pool. Depending on if we got enough time at the end of the show, we can go back and talk about the ones I didn't pick. But this week in college, I like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in college. I got 10 games I like. And a really not a very good slate.
Terrible slate.
Uh-oh. That is the hotline. Let's check him out. Our producer, Neal McCready, on the action.
How about that?
I would like to welcome in, Neal. I would like to welcome in the man, the myth, the legend, also a 3-time world champ and the head football coach of the South Alabama Jags, Kane Wommack.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
So I will say this to you, Kane. You've got bigger things to worry about right now. You've got games to prepare for. But when this season's over, if this continues over the course of the next few months, if there's a day when recruiting slows down, when the portal slows down, we need to have an intervention. There are things that need to be talked about. There are things that need to be dealt with and resolved. And I mean, you know, you've been friends with Tyler for a while. I have as well. And help is needed here soon. And maybe we can get through the season, maybe not. But just put that on your schedule somewhere, like in a dead period. We got to take a day.
You know what I feel like, Neal? I feel like the like the grandparent, right, that gets to swoop in for 10 minutes and then walk out and leaving you with the problems. You know what I mean? Like,
Very fitting. Yeah.
you know, here
Well,
you are.
he's one of us. He's a 3-time world champ. He's one of us.
What are you talking about?
How many kids do you have?
3.
So you're a 3-time guaranteed 3-time world champ.
Well, let's see how they turn out. That's yet to be seen. You know, whether we call that world championship parenting, I'm not sure yet.
It was more about the world champion creation.
I think he's referring to the great sperm race 3 different times.
Okay.
But regardless,
I call myself a 3-time world champ, at least 3 times.
Well, we went there fast.
Yeah.
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 See?
Yeah. See, there we go. All right.
I got 10 minutes. I'm just kidding.
All right, here we go. I want to get started with this. All right, so you and I were having a conversational text message, and I knew that you like movies, but this guy's like serious movie buff right here. And so here's the question I got to ask you. If you're stuck in a room for 7 days and you got to put one movie and you have to watch that movie on loop over and over for 7 straight days, what movie are you putting on?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, good question. That has to be your yeah, good question. Bullshit. All right, go ahead.
I mean, it's not like I haven't thought about this question. You know, a lot. I'm a movie guy. You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
we factored up in college. I'm embarrassed to say this now because I've become a lot better with time management over the years. You know, coaching does that to you. But there was a time, right, where like we factored up in college how many hours, you know, I had watched movies. I mean, it was some, you know, two hours, you know, a day for, you know, it was something crazy like that. I forgot what the number was, but it was bad. It was rough. And then I would use it to procrastinate, right? That I'd make a justification that, you know, a movie came on late night TNT, right? And I had to watch it instead of studying for that next final or something. So, you know what? I love movies that like have like set a scene. You know what I mean? Like I'm very much into like the background, where the area is, all that kind of stuff. Have you ever seen the movie Dan in Real Life?
No, you got me on that one.
No, I hadn't seen that one.
So Dan in Real Life, it's got Steve Carell as the main character in it, and it's kind of set in like this quaint Rhode Island town. It's a family movie, but it really cool, a lot of dynamics going on. And it's kind of like a soft comedy, but a really funny movie. And I could probably, if I had to sit in a room right now and watch a movie over and over, because I have watched that movie numerous times, that would be one.
I got one. I've never. Is it on anything?
Single father Dan Burns dedicates his life to his children, but one day he meets Marie at a bookstore. They get to know each other, but then Dan finds out that Marie is actually dating his brother Mitch. That's pretty good.
Okay, all right.
Pretty good. If you haven't seen it, it is a phenomenal movie. It's really great. Meet Joe Black would be in there. Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins, phenomenal movie. I did, however, one time I had a dare. In college, we went to see the movie Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, it's good. Good.
So I watched it and I really liked it and all that stuff. I was in a Johnny Cash phase at that point, and so I told my buddy, I was like, oh, I could watch this, you know, 6 times or something like that. You know, I just threw a number out there. He's like, I bet you won't, in theaters. And so I watched it 6 times in theaters.
I can. That's something like if you hit Kane, we're not going there on this show at all. But if you hit Kane with a dare, he's the guy. Like he's the guy that no matter how absurd you think the dare is, he will do it.
Interesting. I'll keep that filed away.
Yeah.
Let's put a bubble on that and know that I am responsible for a university football program now. So there are certain things, right?
Yeah, there are certain things he
may
will
have done at a younger age. I no longer would do.
All right, I'm going to ask you. Really, I guess we're not going to be fun anymore. I'm going to ask you one serious question that I'm actually curious about. As a coach, when game day comes, I think you and I are really similar. What your answer and my answer is probably really similar to this. When do you get into game mode? Like you're kicking at 6 o'clock on Saturday night. Do you wake up pissed off and focused and ready to go? Or is there a certain time before the game that it clicks? And I guess this is really the second part of this is it different as a head coach than it was as a assistant coach, because you're having to deal with so much more recruiting as a head coach?
Yeah. It does feel very, very much different. Just because there are different hats you have to wear as a head coach that you didn't have to worry about or deal with or whatever as a coordinator. As a coordinator, my role, I've always said this. I think the two people that have to be the most locked in on game day is the quarterback and the defensive coordinator. To me, those are the two guys that got to be the most locked in mentally to do their job really well, because you're making, split second calls and decisions in real time on the field as a quarterback when 11 people are trying to, put you on the ground, right? And take the ball away from you. And as a coordinator on defense, right, you have a split second to see, all right, here's the down distance, hash, personnel, formation, situation, all these things, right? And now I'm making a call to keep us from giving up an explosive play or getting off the field on third down. So to me, that's a high stress position, right? As a head coach, it's different, right? There are different hats I wear in pregame, right, versus, the beginning of the game to 5 minutes to go in each half, right? Now my analytic hat is going 100 miles an hour, and I'm checking data points. I'm looking at clock scenarios and situations and talking through all those things. So, like, from that point, yes, it's very different. I blanked on the first question. Was it just how when I turn the –
Yeah, like for me, I'll tell you where mine is. So I would always, when I came down for pregame meal, like it was something, and if it was a night game, we played a lot of night games. So you would always have your morning meetings and all that stuff, and then you had this break between the last morning meeting and pregame meal. And I would try to turn on the football game, turn the lights off, and try to take a nap. But when I got up to go, I would always take a shower to get dressed to go to the stadium. When I got up from that nap, or it was time to get ready to go to pregame meal, I immediately woke up pissed off and focused and ready to go. Now, whether it was an 11 a.m. game, it could be 7 o'clock in the morning. It's a 6 o'clock game by 2 o'clock. Like, when's your switch click to you're different? You know what I mean?
But as a head coach, especially at home, right, you might have recruits there. You might have parents. You can't get locked in like that because you're having to do other stuff too.
Yeah, I don't. It very different between being a coordinator and a head coach, you know what I mean, or a position coach and a head coach. I would say where I feel like I lock in is really more during the week of preparation, because my job is to set a tone in this building that brings out the best in everybody, right? Like, the most work, the most efficiency, the most urgency, detail, all that stuff. So, like I've told y'all before, like Monday when I come in and give an address to the players, right? That's like my Super Bowl, right? In terms of like the setting the tone for the week. And then that follows into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday practice, Thursday, I would say is where I'm probably the most locked in. And then on game day, I'm not a high stress. Like, I don't feel a lot of the game day, pressure and stuff. I think that has always allowed me to be a good, it helped me as a coordinator a lot, right? I just saw things for what it was.
Yeah,
I will say, what?
I said you were definitely more laid back than most coordinators that I've been around.
Yeah.
Like, in a good way.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. But
I love
back at you. As a coordinator, there was always a moment right when we were going to kick off, I would walk down to where, hopefully the 25-yard line, right, or something like that, where we were going to get the ball. And I'd kind of like close my eyes just to okay, this is your moment. Nothing else matters other than, the play calls and what you're about to get ready to go, the first deal. And that always, I felt like that was just my one split second where I always reminded myself, like, nothing else matters. Keep the main thing the main thing. and I always felt different after
Clear the Mechanism.
Clear the Mechanism.
What?
For the Love of the Game. Great movie.
Awesome movie.
Great movie.
Maybe
that might be one too that I could watch.
I have watched it, I don't know, 107 times. I could sit and watch it all day.
Let me tell you
I would say the same.
You know what my baseball movie is that nobody else probably has ever watched? I mean,
knowing you, it's probably like Little Big League or Rookie of the Year.
I love it. It's a really good flick. 1985. I'm going to take you back to 1985. This is before my man was born. 1985, The Slugger's Wife with Michael O'Keefe.
Oh.
And what's the chick's name? Redheaded chicks.
Susan Sarandon?
No, that would be the wrong baseball movie. The Slugger's Wife.
She was in a lot.
Randy Quaid's in it. It's a good. It's a good movie. The Slugger's Wife. Check it out.
And watched it.
All right, you would like
my favorite part of For Love of the Game, and there's a lot of parts of that movie that I really like, but it's just Vin Scully, man. Vin Scully's just he's awesome in that movie.
He's the man.
Like they didn't need Steve Lyons in the booth with Vin Scully. They could have just thrown him out and just let Scully do it.
Well, he was the popular guy on Fox back then.
It was incredible. It's just that movie. If you're a dreamer of, you know what I mean, of how sports are supposed to, bring out the best in people and all that, and it's incredible movie.
All right, last question, then I'll clear the room for Major and my man Batoon to come in there and y'all do y'all's coordinator meeting. I want to ask you a South Alabama question here. We didn't have you on last week, so I didn't get a chance to ask you, but I want to ask you this question because coaches always say the best improvement comes between week 1 and week 2. In your opinion, as a head coach, where did you see the most improvement in your team from week 1 to week 2?
I thought the first half of our game played a little bit with a hangover from game 1. I think we were. And I don't mean to discredit or take anything away from Tulane whenever I say this, but like when you lose a game and you did simple things, you know what I mean, that you just didn't do the routine plays right on defense, or some of the operational penalties that we had on offense, or turn the ball over, fumble the first drive of the game, like things that are completely in your control, not like, oh, they got us schematically. That's a hard pill to swallow. And I felt like that hit us pretty good. And with an experienced team, you know what I mean, that expected to do a lot better in that moment. And so I thought we had a good week of practice, but certainly looked like we played, with a bit of that lingering taste in our mouth in the first half. Where I was really proud is, the guys really showed like, okay, we know we've played 6 quarters of football that's not at the level that we're capable of, but we can get it fixed, and we can get it fixed in real time. And that second half, like, we came out swinging in pretty much every area.
So what was the message on Monday? Obviously an opportunity to go to the Big 12 and play Oklahoma State, pretty big stage and that kind of thing. I mean, you can't do anything about the Tulane game now, right? It's in the books. It is what it is, and there's nothing you can do to change it. What was Monday like when you like, hey, we've got a big one ahead of us?
Our focus has been like, do your job, right? Like, this is every opponent, right? It is a nameless, faceless opponent, right? And we'll get you ready for the crowd noise and the environment, because that'll be a little bit different than some of the Sun Belt, venues that we play in. But outside of that, it is a nameless, faceless opponent. But they all have one thing in common. They're all trying to take your dreams from you, right? And so that is one thing we can rally around, is knowing that this was the best week of practice for sure this week. And I talked to the guys, like, some of you are starting to play like your football lives depend on it and practice every day, because they do. Because somebody doesn't care about your problems, and everybody that we play is glad that you have those problems. And they're trying to take something from you, and you can either respond to it in the week of preparation and show up on game day ready to do your job, or not.
Let's fucking go. My dog. That's my dog.
Yep, that's right. I mean, you're right. The other team doesn't care about hangovers or any of that stuff. They're just trying to beat you.
They're trying to take everything. We've had a couple injuries early this season, some rough ones, guys that are out for the year, and I talked to the guys like, you think they're not high-fiving in Stillwater right now when they hear that this guy's out, that you think that they're not fired up about that down the road in the Sun Belt Conference deal. Like, yeah, everybody, right, they're glad you have problems, you know what I mean? And certainly nobody cares about what you do. And so you either stand in the place and next man up, right, or you don't. So those are the things that we're focused on right now.
I know you got to roll. I'm curious on this though. When you have stuff like that, you're on one hand you're a coach and you got to go, hey, next man up. We got to keep going. On the other hand, you're a human being who has seen how much sacrifice and work was put into getting ready for a season, right? And then suddenly it's gone for the kid, and they're devastated. They don't get to play. They're out the last 10, 11, 12, 13 games of the season. How do you sort of balance those two things? Because those are two different jobs, right? One is, hey, next man up, we got to keep going, and the other is you're kind of the comforter in chief a little bit also as the face of the program.
I feel like that is a hat that a head coach has to wear often in a lot of different scenarios. And so what I've tried to do is kind of at the beginning of the season, really in fall camp, even kind of lock my jaw in terms of like, you're not going to, it's just, I have to answer the bell, right? Like whatever the scenario is, whatever comes, I'm going to find a way to answer the bell. And that keeps me in kind of a more neutral mindset. But at the same time, I wouldn't be doing justice to these guys if I didn't take a moment and like, I'm going to use the word mourn the situation for them, right? Like emotionally for them and for me. And so what I typically do is bring the guy into my office and we have 5-10 minutes there, hug, we cry, we talk through what the next steps, how hard it's going to be, this and that, your role changing for the team, the role changing for you to have ownership moving forward. And that is a deeply emotional, 10 minutes there. And then I wipe my face and go back to work.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I appreciate the hell out of you. I know you're busy giving us your time here. Make sure you tell my guy Batoon, the voice of reason, one of my tag team partners. Also, tell Batoon.
Well, then we need to make sure Batoon's at the damn thing when we're going to get together and sit down with you. Intervention. Thank you. Batoon needs to be there.
He would have to be the spokesman. Batoon can talk. He can talk to me.
Well, the difference was, when he was in our profession, right, you gave him a microphone, but it only connected to like 12 people, on a headset, right? Now.
I've been doing this show for a long time, Neal. You just didn't get a chance to hear it.
Well, I'm 107 episodes in, Tyler.
Well,
I'm aware of the trajectory we're on the crazy scale. Yeah. Like, the hot crazy scale. I don't know where hot is, but on crazy, we're like, whoo.
I had 240 episodes before I started this show. I was good to go.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, brother. Tell me I said hello to, please.
Good luck and still.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
Right. See you guys.
The thing I love about, I like about having coaches on here is like Kane the same way. I mean, Kane personally. I obviously know Kane personally, but it's fun to watch them when they can cut up like everybody else.
Yeah, when they get to be people.
And then when they flip that switch, you can see that switch flip. But I thought that was I was curious about that because he was very, as a coordinator, very obviously I never worked with him when he was a head coach, but as a coordinator, he was actually somebody you could have a conversation with. Coaches are different. I mean, some coaches, you'll play a 6:00 game, you'll come down for breakfast at 9:00, and they're already pissed off, and you can't have a conversation with them. Kane and I we actually sat next, we could actually talk, and then you come down for pregame meal, and it's showtime. It's time to feed the kids.
I mean, the proverbial hay is in the proverbial barn by game day. I mean, there's
Now
you get yourself focused and stuff, but in terms of
like you're focused at. Let me clarify this. Like when you're at practice, you're serious. I mean, it's not you're locked in at practice. I'm just talking about like I didn't want anybody to talk to me when I came down for pregame meal. I'm in a different zone.
Yeah.
It's you wouldn't even even after the game, it takes me a little time to get out of it. My mother, she learned early. I was like this as a player too, but my mother got to where my mother would not talk to me after a game. And our rule is like when I was ready to talk, I would call her. that was how we kind of got it figured out. My wife's the same way. My wife did not stick around at the stadium or anything after games. She left, and when I came home, I was ready to talk. But it takes
So
me a
you'd
while
come
to get
home
down.
like Wednesday.
No, I was pretty good. It just takes me a little time. I mean, good and bad. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I went in a different place. So I wouldn't call it clearing the mechanism, but the way your brain works and the way you have to, I mean, you don't hear the crowd. It's just a weird deal. But there's definitely something there that you have to get into because you got to make split-second decisions. It's high pressure. You got people yelling in your ear. You can't function unless you can do that.
That's like Billy Chappell when that time that he said clear the mechanism and
Yeah.
it didn't clear. Man, that's a traumatic moment right there. Because all of a sudden you're hearing stuff in Yankee Stadium. It was a big game too.
No doubt.
It was a big game for the Tigers.
Hey,
They
Neal.
were trying to help the Red Sox.
Neal,
Yes, Tyler.
you've been fighting this, but do you know what time it is?
I have a feeling I know.
It's time for Make It Rain.
That's what I suspected. So I'm down 1 unit or 2 units.
You're
What am I?
down 1 unit.
1 unit.
Heading into the weekend. We both have pretty much sucked it up. But I feel really good about this week. This is the first week that I feel confident about my picks, like
Okay.
legitly confident. I think I'm going to get with it this week. I've had some resident trolls that are in our chat, in the Cooper Chevrolet chat right now, that are fading me, that want to fade me for the year. I'm making it my personal mission to break all you motherfuckers. I'm coming in this thing hot today. We're past 5-minute mark, and
We are.
and I'm out of rain, so we're ready to go today because it's Make It Rain Thursday. All right, Neal, I'm gonna start this bad boy off. You good with that?
Yeah.
Neal, my first game is taking place about an hour and a half south of us in Starkville, Mississippi.
Yeah.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
About an hour and 40 minutes.
Hour 40.
Yeah.
Okay. I drive fast. They're playing host to the LSU Bengal Tigers.
Yeah.
This is a Quick U versus Quick U matchup. Quick U versus Quick U. LSU is favored by 9.5, Neal. And guess what, Neal? It's not enough. LSU.
I agree.
Here's the thing: is they both have very similar issues at different spots, but both in the back end. I think Mississippi State's a little young at safety. They need to. They will get better as the year goes on. That's really if you had a weakness in their defense right now, that's where it's at. Whereas LSU's weakness is also in the back end, but offensively, Mississippi State's not a push it down the field team. I'm taking LSU minus 9.5 on the road at Mississippi State.
I know it's not germane because the game's in Starkville, but I still love pregame at LSU. Love it.
Do you?
The hour build up.
I like night games when they do I like the Colin Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks fan.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks fan. And it's
Where you make the tiger roar too. I like that. I like that a lot.
dude, they've gotten a little soft.
They've backed away from that.
They've gotten a little soft with the tiger lately. It used to be really bad. They used to put it outside the locker rooms and all that stuff.
Yeah, and make it roar and scare
hey,
the hell out of everybody.
You know my favorite Mike the Tiger story is when in 2012 we went. This was back when coaches used to do this. A lot of coaches don't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
When Friday you would travel to wherever you're going and you would go do your walkthrough on the field at the stadium, like you would have a practice and then just walk through things, right? And then coaches got paranoid that people were watching and all that stuff. Didn't make a difference, but anyway. And we're walking. No, it was not pregame. I mean, it was not Friday because Hugh didn't do that. It's Saturday. We arrive at the stadium. We played LSU. I want to say it was like a 2:30 CBS game in 2012.
Yeah.
And Wesley McGriff is sitting there talking to some coaches, and they rolled the Tiger, Mike the Tiger, like in the cage on the field, and they had stopped it or whatever. And he was, Crime was over there like, and the Tiger pissed on Crime in pregame. The Tiger pissed on Crime through the fence. That was good stuff.
That's wild.
Yeah, that was good. All right, what you got first pick there, Neal?
All right, I got a game tonight.
Okay, starting off on Thursday night.
The Memphis Tigers at home tonight against the United States Naval Academy.
Wow.
The boys from Annapolis.
You're not going communist on me, are you?
I'm afraid I am.
Wow.
I'm afraid I am. This game is not being played on the ocean. It is being played at Liberty Bowl Stadium.
Navy at Liberty Bowl. I mean, come on.
Give me Liberty or don't give me that. Just give me Liberty. Give me Memphis. -14 at home against Navy. The Tigers were good to me last week. We're going to ride the Tigers.
You're going to ride the Tigers.
That's right.
Feels like a big year for the Memphis coaching staff. And they've got it off. They've got it off to a good start.
And defensively, they're off to a really good start.
My man, Charles Clark.
Yep.
He's got them rolling up there.
I know some people around that program, and talk about culture. They've got really good culture going on right now. A lot of buy-in. People are doing good things. This is a TV game, which means just be real. Game like that at this level means that you're playing for potential portal interest.
Yeah,
it's a big night. I look for the Tigers to roll.
Yeah, I'm pulling for them. Charles Clark's one of my favorite people on the planet, so pulling for them. Not one of my picks though, but
Grind says it's at Memphis is -13. I haven't.
I'll check it.
As of this morning, it was -14.
I will check it for you right now because I don't want to cheat you. Let's see here.
Yeah, I can't afford to get cheated.
Current line is Memphis -13.
Okay. Grind, you the man.
Grind
got me a point.
Look, Grind, let's go, man. Look for you, man. Grind just wants me to go to the haunted house. That's all he wants.
All right, so I got Memphis -13 versus Navy.
All right, Neal. Staying with a quick U theme. Another quick U client is heading about 3 hours and 45 minutes east on I-70 this weekend.
Okay.
The Kansas State Wildhawks, the Kansas State Wildcats, are getting on the bus and they're driving east, straight on I-70 for about 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Going to Como.
They're going to Columbia.
Missouri.
That place is very difficult to play. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I heard.
You heard?
I heard.
One of the most difficult places to play, contrary to popular belief.
Hey, there you go.
I never have to worry about this getting clipped and put out on social media because the guy who does our social media is a diehard Missouri Tigers fan.
Yeah.
And so if we ever mention the word Missouri in a positive light, it's like the lead clip. He's going to put it out there. But if we ever go against Missouri, it gets buried, never sees the light of day.
Yeah. So this is a moment that will disappear.
This is a moment that will disappear in all of time. For some reason, and I don't know who, but I would like to thank you personally, has moved this line down to 3.5.
Okay.
I am taking the Tyler Siskey lock of the century. Kansas State -3.5 at Columbia. Missouri, they're struggling up front. They're very inconsistent. Kansas State's a good football team. Very well coached.
Very well.
I think this is an easy double-digit game. I mean, this is stealing. They're handing out money in Missouri this weekend. If you would like to wager on this, they're just handing it out free money. Kansas State -3.5.
The fact that everybody's on this side of the line makes me super suspicious. It just scares me, and it's the reason I decided to bail on this game. I had it too, but I bailed on it.
I'm not scared. Scared money don't make money.
That's true.
That's also a preview of what's coming up soon.
Yeah. All right. I'm headed. I got a little Big Ten flavor in my picks today. The Maryland Terrapins at home this week against the Virginia Cavaliers.
Quickie clowns.
Which ones?
Maryland.
Okay. Then they'll like this. Virginia off to a rough start. Rough. And I feel for them. Been a rough time.
They've had a rough time.
Whole deal. Maryland's sneaky good. Maryland's sneaky good now.
They can score.
They're not top 3 in the Big Ten, but they contend for 4th. They're giving 14.5 to the Cavaliers. They'll cover it with ease. Give me the Terrapins -14.5 at home against UVA.
Yeah, I like that. They're really good on offense. And Maryland has struggled on defense. So I think that Maryland's going to score points in that game. All right, Neal.
Yes,
and what arguably could be the most watched game. No, that's not true. Arguably one of the top watch games of the week, definitely in its time slot. The Tennessee Vols.
Yeah. Headed to the swamp.
Are 6.5-point favorites going to the swamp.
Yep.
They haven't won in a while. It's been a minute. And by the way, did you see Dan Mullen's swipe it or his little They haven't been as good as they've been, they were a couple of years ago. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that, Dan. That's my style. They're taking on the Fighting Billy Napiers and the Florida Gators. I'm a little biased towards Florida. I didn't know if you knew that or not. I'm apparently biased towards my friends. I'm a bad friend because I do that. But here's the deal, Neal. It's at 6.5. And that's not where I'm going. I'm taking the under.
What is the over-under on this one?
58.5.
Okay. Yeah.
I think both offenses stink. I'm going to rinse and repeat what I said the other day. I don't think either. I think both defenses.
So we're finally getting off the Graham Mertz train?
Oh, by the way, did you know Graham Mertz and Joe Milton have played before?
I'm aware.
And Graham Mertz and the Wisconsin Badgers beat Michigan that year 49-11. Just thought I'd let you know that.
Oh, okay.
That was back when Graham Mertz was good. But I'm going with the under at 58.5. I think both of these. I'm actually not going to be surprised here if Florida wins this game.
Yeah, I thought about the Florida money line, and I'm still thinking about Florida and the points.
If I didn't have a money line that I like better than this would be my money line. But I'm so confident in the under. Tennessee has played night and day better. How much they have improved defensively, they've lost it offensively. And Florida's good on defense. It's in the swamp. I think both of them have, I'd say both of them are top 5 SEC defenses playing each other, and both of them are bottom 5 offenses. I'm taking the under at 58.5.
Okay. I like that. It's a good pick.
No, y'all don't. No, you can't say that. You can't sit here and troll me about fading me and then say you like my pick. That's against the rules.
I said I liked your pick.
No, I'm talking about in the Cooper Chevrolet chat. They
gotcha.
can't say you can't fade me and then say you like my pick. That's against the rules.
All right, for me, my third pick back to the Big Ten. The Big Ten for me is like a fuzzy comfort blanket.
It is.
I just kind of like Big Ten.
Hey, you got 2 comfort blankets. It's the Big Ten and San Diego State. Those are your 2 comfort.
I almost did the San Diego State.
I was waiting on it. Those are your 2 comfy
give
blankets.
Them a rest. Back to the Big Ten. Penn State hits the road. They go to Champaign-Urbana to play Illinois. The Fighting Illini getting 14.5 points. They need a lot more than that, Tyler. They're in trouble. Defense is bad. People are starting to question defensive coordinator hires. Offense has not been super productive. Penn State, on the other hand, looks like a potential contender quietly.
Wow. You going there already?
Penn State looks I said potential. Penn State looks good. Penn State minus 14.5 at Illinois.
Okay. You don't believe my man Luke Altmaier?
He doesn't play defense. I do like Luke. I'm cheering for Luke. I hope it goes well.
He did good last week.
I like Luke. I like Luke's family. Nice people. I hope it works out.
All right, Neal. There's going to be another event going on this weekend.
Yep.
The Siskey family is going to make an appearance at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium this weekend. I'm coming back, Neal. I'm coming back. I'm coming home.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what section I'm sitting in.
I was going to say, please don't. Security.
The only reason that I feel very safe about going back to the Vaught-Hemingway this weekend is Cole Kublik will also be in the stands, and all the attention will be on Cole, and they'll forget that I'm even there. All right,
man. I think there'll be a lot of people that Ole Miss people don't like in that stadium this weekend.
Yeah. Hint, maybe in the same section. Come get one, you can get 2. All right. So I'm gonna make the trip, and I'm betting on this game. This is gonna be one of my picks. The Ole Miss Rebels.
Okay.
Are 18-point favorites. This line has moved a lot.
What is it now?
18.
Okay, it's down to 18.
It was at 20.5, I believe, at the top.
Yeah, it was at 19.5 when we locked in our picks for rebelgrove.com.
I think it opened at 20.5 or it got to 20.5, something like that.
Okay.
I think I'm not making it up. We got plenty of Ole Miss people on this thread. They'll let me know. But here's where I'm going with this. The Ole Miss Rebels are 18-point favorites. And, Neal, that is too much.
Oh.
I'm taking Georgia Tech plus the 18.
Yeah.
This has backdoor McCready written all over it. I do not think that Ole Miss loses the game. But here's where I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I was telling you before we started, Georgia Tech has given up for the season, given up 1 sack all season. But more importantly, their defense, after playing Louisville, who throws the ball around a lot, and South Carolina State, an FCS opponent, their defense has yet to record a sack. I don't think they're going to be – I think this is the week that Ole Miss has to get the offensive going. If you're an Ole Miss fan and they struggle running the ball against this front seven, or they're giving up sacks against a team that has yet to record a sack, there are problems. I don't think that will occur. I think Ole Miss will be able to score points even with the receivers out. I think they got enough, because I'm just okay on the Georgia Tech defense. Now, offensively,
one of Georgia Tech's top receivers is out too.
Yeah, the kid that transferred from Texas A&M, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But he's out. But they also have a freshman receiver that's one of the fastest kids in the country. Runs a 10-100 meter as a freshman.
Oh.
He can legit go, and he will try to knock the top off. But Haynes King's not going to be intimidated. They have done a really good job offensively. On top of that, Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator is a guy by the name of Buster Faulkner. Buster is a legit, really good ball coach.
Is that his God-given name? His parent-given name?
Yes.
Buster?
Yes, Buster Faulkner.
Wow. Not a nickname?
Not a nickname.
Okay.
And he came from Georgia
Tech. It's not like James Buster Douglas. This is Buster.
Is Buster Faulkner. Really good football coach.
When your parents and the baby comes out and they come in with a birth certificate thing, what were you naming this child? And you say Buster, you're betting that this kid's going to grow up to be a tough guy.
Yeah, he is. But he spent a lot of time at the University of Georgia before he gets to Georgia Tech, so he understands the defense. He understands that Pete's going to run. He knows where the holes are, and they've been good on offense. That's the thing that they have done. They've been very good on offense. They didn't punt last week, and they shouldn't have, but they did not punt. And they looked really good early in the game against Louisville before they faded late. So I'm going to take it may be a backdoor McCready, but 18 points is just too much. I'm taking Georgia Tech plus 18 at Ole Miss.
I think that's a really good pick, actually. I really do. I'm kind of the same way. I can see Ole Miss up 24 or so. If you're Lane's got to get starters out of there today. He's got, or Saturday, I should say. He can't leave people in too long. Get another key injury, getting ready for Alabama in a week. That would be way too risky. He's got to play. He's got to be conservative with his personnel decisions.
Yeah, I think if he gets up, he never has. I don't know why he would start now, but you would think that if he does get up, that and look, Brent Key. Here's the other thing from a covering perspective. Brent Key also worked with this guy, coached offensive line for this guy named Lane Kiffin. Like, he understands what's going to get called, so he can help the defense. Offense understands they're going to have a game plan to attack, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, you have a under. I have an over.
Okay, let's go.
Back to the Big Ten.
No.
Michigan State at home. First game in the post-regime change. Mel Tucker out. No one really knows exactly how they respond. Will they play sad? Will they play pissed off? Will they play whatever? Will they play for the new coach? All that stuff. Washington, on the other hand, giving up points and scoring points like mad. Michael Penix off to a hot start for the Huskies. Give me the over in East Lansing. Washington and Michigan State over 55.5.
I like it.
How about that? My first over-under of the season. It's not what I do well. I don't do a lot of overs. I don't do a lot of unders. Oh, my God. It's 2:43 on a Thursday. And this show just is about to take a turn for the worse. We welcome in the Joker. Joker, welcome to McCready and Siskey. Thanks for stopping in here on Make It Rain Thursday. How you doing?
I spent the early part of the week after being on your show on Monday. I took a trip to Boulder, Colorado. I learned some things. I got to meet all of my social media trolls. And I found out some things, Neal.
You found out some things?
Yes.
In Boulder?
In Boulder.
Tell me what you learned, Joker.
Well, there has been 30 years of pent-up aggression because they have sucked for that long.
It's true.
And so for 30 years, they've been
pulling for everything because they can't find anything to pull for because the Buffaloes have been irrelevant.
They being the Colorado fan base. Is that who
The
you're?
Colorado fan base.
That's who you're referencing. Okay.
And Neal, you wonder why they were the first state to legalize marijuana. Because for 20 years, they could not get any help from the Buffaloes, and they needed something to take that edge off. 0-time world champions out in Denver have never won the world championship. So, Neal,
You're referencing the Buffaloes?
I'm referencing the Buffaloes.
Because the state of Colorado has won some championships, Joker.
But definitely not the Buffaloes.
The Nuggets just won the title.
But they're not Colorado Buffaloes.
That's true. They're not. That's true.
They don't claim them. They've never been claimed until now. And they're all jumping on the bandwagon. And Neal, just the last time that Colorado was relevant in football, Michael Keaton was playing my enemy in Batman in 1989. That was the last time they were relevant.
That's true. That's true.
Neal, last week, they hosted their first home game.
Nebraska.
Against Nebraska. It was slam-packed. And there was a long line of Buffalo fans that were in the blue can line. They were all there to buy blue cans.
Blue cans.
Yes, every one of them. And still hanging.
Which is kind of surprising in Colorado, because there's a lot of breweries in Colorado. A lot of really strong breweries. Coors is there as well.
Well, that's also where the Colorado State fans, they are the ones that drink the Coors Light.
Colorado State drinks
Colorado
the Coors
State
Light.
fans drink Coors Light.
Okay.
And go to the breweries. But Colorado fans, they're in the blue can line.
Blue cans.
And the blue can line still had Spuds McKenzie logos up because it's been that long since anybody even went to a game.
Those are some old cans, too.
Some old cans,
Yeah.
too. They had Spud
Wow.
McKenzie cans.
Yeah.
With that being said, Neal, the Colorado State Rams are going into Colorado.
No caps and no sunglasses for
No
Colorado
caps,
State.
no sunglasses.
No, sir.
They're going. My man, Jay Norvell, straight out of Gotham, calls out Dion today, says when he talks to people, he takes his hat off. He takes his sunglasses off because that's what his mother taught him.
Colorado State, a Quick U client. I don't know if you knew that, Joker.
They are.
Quick
I
U
heard.
client, yeah.
I heard. Neal, Colorado State is getting 23.5 points. And by no surprise, because Colorado State is wearing Joker green, the Colorado State Rams will roll in Boulder, and I will take Colorado State plus 23.5. Because next week, Neal, 7 days from Saturday, the Buffaloes have a date with reality.
A date with reality.
In Eugene, Oregon. So get all you want this week, boys, because next week, it's all over.
And then they have USC after that. So 2 dates with reality coming
And then you have Oregon State. You have Utah. It's going to be L, things that the Joker just loves. Neal, I will see you again Monday.
That's the Joker stopping in for his now twice weekly visit here on McCready and Siskey. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, what'd I miss?
The Joker stopped by.
Who'd he pick?
He picked Colorado State. Got 23.5.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what happened.
I'm down with that. So he picked that for me?
He did. He picked that for you.
Okay.
Major pick.
All right. Colorado State plus 23.5. And just saying, the money line is also plus 1,200 if anybody wants to bet with the Joker. Maybe want to sprinkle something on that 1,200.
Okay.
All right.
I'm down to 2 here. I think I'm just going to stick with my Big Ten. I'm going to have a Big Ten theme. I'm going to go Big Ten theme. Big Ten's either going to be good to me. Or
is this a Big Ten show, Neal?
It could be. Listen, for the right sponsor, whatever. I mean, if there's some Polish thing or something, like a Brats, they want to sponsor the show. Johnsonville Brats.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in. I'll go Big Ten.
Okay.
Rutgers is at home. Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights.
Okay.
At home versus Virginia Tech. Tech off to a rough start. Not looking the part. Rutgers is Rutgers. But they're only laying 7.
Ooh.
Rutgers covers at home laying 7 points versus Virginia Tech.
They have a little health issue too, right?
Vatek has a number of injuries.
Dude,
that could be pretty costly for them.
how about my guys at Rutgers playing pretty strong defense right now?
Yeah.
So I like that pick. I mean, because it's not like Virginia Tech's some high-powered offense.
No, not at all.
All right, Neal, do you know what time it is?
It's money line time.
It's money line time. All right. There's no way I couldn't take this one. It was too good. This is my new San Diego State. This is my new New Orleans Aints. This is my new Falcons. These are my new targets. Neal, Saturday, out in the great city of Las Vegas, Nevada,
Yeah.
the Vanderbilt Commodores
Sin City, baby.
are going out. They're going to play in that beautiful, beautiful stadium.
It is a gorgeous stadium. I love that
Beautiful
place.
stadium. It really is. Hats off to anybody who is involved in that beautiful stadium, beautiful location. But
I want to go back for the IPA that's in that stadium by itself. I wish I could remember the name of it. It was fantastic.
I bet we can look that
There
up.
was a couple of them. There was actually a different one for the college game than there was for the Raiders game.
A different beer?
Yeah, it was two different IPAs. They had a different IPA for the college for the bowl game, and then they had a different one for the NFL game. They were both spectacular.
Okay. Well, I am.
There's also one you can get in the Denver airport I know the name of I don't know the name of it, but I know exactly where it is in the concourse. They have an IPA from Southern Colorado that is amazing.
I bet it's not from Boulder.
It is not from Boulder.
It's probably from Fort Collins.
It's not. It's probably closer to Fort Collins.
Yeah, probably from Fort Collins.
Probably so.
All right, because you can't do IPAs either. Anyway, Vanderbilt's going out to Las Vegas. They are 4.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
So I am taking the UNLV money line.
Barry Odom and the boys.
The fighting Barry Odoms.
Yeah.
To beat Vandy outright. I'm taking UNLV plus 170 against the Vanderbilt Commodores.
All right. I don't hate that. I actually think Vandy's going to win, but I don't hate that pick. All right, I'm leaving the Big Ten for my money line pick.
That's a shocker.
Leaving the Big Ten.
Is San Diego State underdogs anywhere?
I thought about North Texas as a money line pick at Louisiana Tech.
Okay.
But I can't go against the people in Ruston. I can't do that. I'm a Bearcat. Once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat. I have 12 credit hours from Louisiana Tech, so technically it's an alma mater. Okay. That's how that works.
Allegedly.
I thought about James Madison plus 2.5 against, speaking of alma maters, yours. I thought about taking James Madison plus money line against Troy. But
Don't do that.
But I think there's a better bargain for me.
Okay.
I'm going to Storrs, Connecticut, where the Huskies are having some quarterback issues health-wise. And I'm going to take the Fighting Mike McIntyres and FIU, a quick U client. FIU playing pretty well so far this season. Playing pretty well. I think they're going to go up there ready to go. Weather won't be a factor. It's not cold yet. FIU plus 235 at UConn.
Oh, I like it. The Fighting Mike McIntyres. I like it. I'm a fan. All right, Neal. Real quick before we get to the NFL, games that I liked that I did not bet on the show that I will bet personally. Let's see if you got any disagreement on this to talk me out of it.
Okay.
These were in my pool that I did not go with the show. I like Florida State minus 26.5 at Boston College.
Yeah, I like that too.
I don't think Boston College is very good this year.
It's just a big number, and you just don't know how motivated Florida State is to keep going. But you never know.
The only thing that scares you is they got Clemson next week.
That's what I mean.
And they're on the road.
That's what I mean. You kind of
sleepy town.
Like, hey, we start slow, get it, and then he thinks, hey, let's get out of here. We've got this. Let's get out of here before we get somebody hurt. We're going to Clemson. Let's get it.
I just think they're on a mission, man. They're playing well. I like them. They can score at will. I'm going to bet that personally. I'm also going to bet this one. And this was in my pool. It came so close. This is probably the closest I came to betting another game. I like Liberty minus 3.5 at Buffalo.
I like that too a lot. Because I actually looked at that as one of my picks. I like that. Buffalo's terrible, and their metrics are just worse. Now, Liberty's not been world beaters, but I think they cover that line. I like that pick.
Yeah, Jamie Chadwell, the old Coastal Carolina coach, is now running the same offense at Liberty. And then a lot of those guys that Hugh had, especially running quarterbacks, were still there. They're pretty salty. I think they cover that. I think it's a 10-point game. and I said it on the show the other day, and I'm going to bet it. I like Georgia minus 27.5 against South Carolina. I think Kirby's going to try to make a point. He is going to try to score as much as he can. Now, can he? I don't know, but it's not going to be for lack of effort. I don't think he will call the dogs off, no pun intended. I like Georgia minus 27.5. In the last game, and I'm going to bet it, and he was just on our show, I really like – I didn't want to, pump him up too much. But I like South Alabama plus 7 at Oklahoma State.
I think I do too. Oklahoma State, I mean –
they struggled against Central Arkansas.
Well, their quarterback play is so bad.
Yeah.
It's baffling. I mean, it really is. The whole Spencer Sanders, Oklahoma State thing is just baffling for all parties, frankly. It makes you question, like, were you guys unable to reach a common sense? The answer is yes, but clearly. But he's not playing, and he would be playing for them. It's bizarre.
I like Kane got them reset. They look really good. And the specialists that he was talking about in that second half of that game last week. And I think they got it figured out as far as, hey, we got to go. And they struggled against Oklahoma State, struggled against Central Arkansas, and then had a struggle win against Arizona State, who's not very good. So I'm taking the South Alabama Jags plus 7 also.
Yeah. The other one that I kind of like is Alabama minus 32 against USF. I kind of think they unleashed the beast a little bit. But I could be wrong.
He's very good. He's very good after losses.
Yeah.
You will know a lot about. Now look, the score is not going, but how they play will tell you a lot about the character of that team.
All right, let's go to the NFL.
National Football League, Neal.
Dun 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 dun.
I'm going to start this bad boy off, Neal.
Okay.
Sunday, I think, and probably, there's a bunch of good games, but in one of the games of the week, in a rematch from the divisional round last year, the Kansas City Chiefs with Chris Jones,
yes,
who they signed this week, is going to Jacksonville. And the Jaguars are getting 3.5 points.
Yeah. Home dog at
3.5 points.
Rematch of the AFC divisional playoff game.
I think this is a very close game. I think this is a field goal game either way. That reason, I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 3.5 at home against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right. I am headed to Detroit, Michigan. Big Ten Country, game 1. Detroit, minus 5.5 at home versus Seattle. The Lions have had a little time to celebrate, get back to business. Home opener. I think they're way too much for Seattle. Detroit, minus 5.5.
Neal, Detroit's at home this week. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I was aware.
They are 4.5-point favorites.
Is it 4.5?
Yes.
Okay.
What'd you have it at?
5.5.
It's 4.5. I'm giving you 4. I'm looking there. I'm being your friend. I didn't know if you knew that or not. Seattle did not look great last week. They struggled on offense. They struggled bad.
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly, they could not stop the run.
This is correct.
I'm talking about it was like the Rams ran through them like shit through a tin horn at home. They're going on the road to play the Lions, who is going to run the ball with that just beast of an offensive line. Jahmyr Gibbs, if you're playing fantasy, stack up on Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm taking the Detroit Lions as well, minus 4.5 at home against the Seattle Seahawks.
All right, we're on the same page there. All right, I'm going staying in Big Ten country in the state of Ohio. The Cincinnati Bengals, coming off of an absolute disaster of a performance against Cleveland. At home this week against the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore looked pretty good against Texans. Of course, I'm not sure that you and I wouldn't look good against some of the Texans. Cincinnati desperately needs a win, desperately needs a confidence builder, but a lot of people kind of writing off Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and everybody after one game, and that's a mistake. Give me the Bengals. I'm going to lay 3.5. They get well Sunday. They beat the Ravens at home.
Wow, that's a good pick. All right, Neal.
It's a cheerleader pick, but we're hoping.
Last week, the game of the week was the Chargers and the Dolphins.
Big game.
And I thought that was two really good football teams.
Two really good offenses for sure.
And one of those teams, the Los Angeles Chargers, are going on the road to face the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Chargers are only favored by 3 points.
I'm surprised that the line's that low. They're really putting a lot of stock into the 2 time changes.
They are, but it's not going to matter because 3 points, Neal, it's not enough. I'm taking the Los Angeles Chargers -3 against the Tennessee Titans, who have yet to find the end zone. They couldn't find the end zone against the Aints. What makes them think they're going to be able to find the end zone versus the Chargers? I'm taking the Los Angeles Chargers -3.
You're getting fired up. You started maybe think you were the Joker there for just a
No,
minute.
he's already. I think he's on his way back to Boulder.
On his way back. Okay. Yeah. I go SEC country this time, down to the state of Florida. It's Tampa Bay at home against the Chicago Bears.
Who's Chicago Bears?
Not mine.
Oh, you're not. You know, no, you can't disown them now. You got a jersey and everything.
I do have. Well, the jersey's.
Isn't it Brian Urlacher jersey?
It's Mitch Trubisky.
You spent money
I did
on a Mitch Trubisky jersey?
Yeah, it's kind of more messing with my son at the time, but yes.
No, that's funny.
Bucks -2.5 against the Bears. Look, the Bears keep coming up with all these reasons why they're not good. You know, maybe it's offensive coordinator, maybe it's offensive line play, maybe it's defensive line, maybe it's defensive backs. Maybe it's the sun. Maybe it's the moon. Maybe it's the wind. Maybe it's the stadium. It's the quarterback.
Hey, it's not that wind coming off the Ohio River.
It's the quarterback. Justin Fields just not getting it done right now. He's just not. And I don't think he gets it done Sunday in Tampa. Give me the Bucks -2.5.
I like it. All right, Neal, somewhere in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, GJG is hiding out. And
we're going Falcons
He's
time.
been waiting on me to say this the whole chat.
I do have a Rashawn Salam jersey.
Okay.
May he rest in peace.
But GJG is a huge Falcons fan. And I grew up a Falcons fan, just 1 hour from the stadium.
Bob's got the Bears getting healthy against the Bucks.
Bob, there's my man, Bob. Bob, what it is.
But I think that's Bob's heart talking.
Yeah, Bob is big Bears.
Yeah.
Bob is a really big Bears fan. He is a really big USC Trojans fan. So
I got one thing going for him.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. He's all right because his college team may be there at the end.
Yeah.
All right, so he's got it going there. But GJG, he's there in the Cooper Chevrolet chat along with Bob. The Atlanta Falcons are hosting the Green Bay Packers. And the Green Bay Packers are favored by 1 point, Neal. Jordan Love is going to throw for 390,000 yards.
Oh.
And the Falcons, with their no players, okay,
right.
No players, are going to get their ass kicked at home. Give me the Green Bay Packers -1 on the road in Atlanta.
I like that pick. It's a good pick. All right. I'm sticking with the state of Florida, but on the road this time. The Miami Dolphins, coming off that big win against the Chargers, they head to New England. They looked really good on offense. When Tua's healthy and clicking, that is a dangerous, dangerous offense.
Hey, I didn't know if you knew Tyreek Hill's still fast.
He's still very fast. He is very fast.
And Jalen Waddle.
They both remain fast. And Tua looked really good. I mean, Tua looked really good. They go to New England. New England looked okay, but okay is about as far as I can go. It is at New England. I don't like home dogs. I mean, I don't like road
favorites.
Road favorites is what I meant. I do like home dogs usually, but in this case, I'm going with the road favorite. I'm taking the Dolphins. I'll lay 3. Miami -3 at New England against the Patriots.
All right, as you know, because I told you before the show, this was one of my picks as well. I'm not picking it. It's not my official pick. But here's the thing with this game, all kidding aside. Last week, when they were able to get Los Angeles, the Chargers, in 3rd and long, when the Dolphins blitz, dude, they are the best blitzing team I've seen in a long time. They get home. I mean, they run. Running backs try to step up in protection. They run through you. With Mac Jones being a statue back there and not being able to get away, if they can get New England in 3rd and longs, 7+, and they can bring the blitz, dude, they will get home and create havoc. I love that pick. All right, Neal, my last pick. The Jets are going on the road to take on America's team the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are favored by 9 points. 9.
Yep.
Nina, 9. Nueve,
not Nina.
9.
Nueve.
Is Nina not 9? Some.
Nina's like a storm, right?
Well, that's what it's going to be.
Okay.
It's going to be a storm. Because as good as the Cowboys are at getting after the quarterback, you look over there at the other side, and you see Zach Wilson, and you just want to take Zach Wilson, and you just want to pet him like a little bear.
Oh, he's been petted some.
Wow, you just went there.
Hey, Mom, any of your friends coming over?
So, if I was, the mom's, his
Mom,
friend,
y'all having girls' night out here?
yeah. He's like, Zach, it's okay. It's okay, Zach.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
But you know what Zach says?
What's that?
We're not going to have to throw the ball because as good as the Dallas Cowboys are at getting after the quarterback, they suck stopping the run. Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook are going to run wild in Cowboy Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Give me the Jets +9 on the road in Dallas.
Oh, I don't hate that, actually, because 9 points is a ton in an NFL game. All right, this is my weakest of picks, but this is a gut feeling. The New York Giants lost 40-0 to the Dallas Cowboys. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Weather, Daniel Jones was awful. Yeah.
Thanks, Grind. In the Cooper Chevrolet chat, I needed that. I knew I wasn't.
9mm gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything that could go wrong did. But since then, things have kind of gone right for the Giants.
Like what?
Arizona's next on the schedule.
Okay. I was like, did I miss something?
The Giants go to Arizona, where they won one of their Super Bowls.
They did.
They're going to get well, at least temporarily, against a bad Cardinals team. Bad Cardinals team. Your boy watched Cardinals Commanders the other day.
Why would you put yourself through that?
And I was having one of those days where I didn't like myself. And I watched it. And I liked myself worse when it was over.
I literally had Sunday ticket. I had every game in the NFL on except for that game.
Yeah, it was bad. Give me the Giants -5.5 in Glendale.
Is it moved? I had you at 4.
Oh, now I'll be happy to take the 1.5. I looked at it this morning.
All right, I will look it up because I don't want you to feel slighted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that tells you everything that you need to know. If somebody that got beat 40-0 is
A road favorite.
Very next week, it is at 4 points.
Oh, sweet. What's the Miami line? Make sure I'm not losing points there.
The Dolphins are still 3.
Tampa still 2.5.
Tampa is 2.5.
Cincinnati still 3.5.
The Bengals are 3.
3.
Bengals -3. Better check mine.
Okay.
All right. But that tells you everything you need to know there. All right. We got 5 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm done with that. As all of it, we got a lot of new people to listen. So if you're new to the show, my man Neal and I have some very strong convictions on a couple conspiracy theories, on a couple. And I told Neal if we had time, I wanted to talk about this. So Neal, this week, I think it was this week, I saw the video this week.
Came out Sunday in the New York Times.
Okay. And I'll let you do the actual research with the name and all that stuff. But
Landis is his name.
Landis, who is a Secret Service agent.
Paul Landis. He's now 88 years old.
Secret Service agent that was following the car that John F. Kennedy was shot in. Basically comes out and for the first time in the last, I guess it's been 60 years, next 2 months. So comes out and says that he is the one who took the quote unquote magic bullet that was lodged in the back seat. Basically, that had fallen out of the back seat. He picked it up because he did not feel comfortable with nobody securing the crime, a crime scene, and the investigation was so much hectic going on. So he picked it up. He is the one who said he laid the quote unquote magic bullet on the gurney. Okay. So for you guys that are not JFK.
Here's something.
Okay.
Listen to this. Nurse Phyllis Hall, who was at Parkland
Yes.
that day in November 22nd, 1963. She said she saw a bullet sitting on Kennedy's stretcher, backs up a new eyewitness claim by Secret Service agent who says he set the bullet there. The prior eyewitness testimony of a nurse present in the emergency room after President John F. Kennedy was fatally shot in 1963 seems to corroborate a former Secret Service agent's bombshell new claim. Multiple interviews given by nurse Phyllis J. Hall a decade ago appeared to back up former Secret Service agent Paul Landis's claim after she described seeing a bullet sitting on the mortally wounded president's stretcher next to his head. Landis, 88, broke his silence in an interview on Saturday, nearly 6 decades after Kennedy's assassination in Dallas, to share a claim that upends the infamous magic bullet theory and raises the possibility of multiple shooters. In short, Landis claimed to have picked up a nearly pristine fired bullet from the back seat of the limousine where Kennedy was shot and placed it on the president's hospital stretcher to preserve it as evidence. The bullet would seem to be the one that the Warren Commission claimed was recovered from Texas Governor John Connally's stretcher, the so-called magic bullet that appeared nearly intact despite the commission's theory that it struck both Kennedy and Connally. Several interviews given by Nurse Hall in 2013 seemed to corroborate Landis's fresh claim. Quote, on the cart, halfway between the earlobe and the shoulder, there was a bullet laying almost perpendicular there, but I have not seen a picture of that bullet ever. She told the Sunday Mirror, I could see a bullet lodged between his ear and his shoulder. It was pointed at its tip and showed no signs of damage. I remember looking at it. There was no blunting of the bullet or scarring around the shell from where it had been fired. I'd had a great deal of experience working with gunshot wounds, but I had never seen anything like this before. It was about 1.5 inches long, nothing like the bullets that were later produced. It was taken away, but never have I seen it presented in evidence or heard what happened to it. It remains a mystery. I'm almost done. In fact, her description of the mystery bullet nearly perfectly matches the first piece of evidence logged by the FBI under the tag number C1, the bullet supposedly recovered from Connally's stretcher after falling from a wound on his leg. It also offers a point of corroboration to the claim of Landis, who says that she believes the bullet was undercharged and fell from a shallow wound in Kennedy's back onto the limo seat, a far cry from the 2-person through-and-through wounds proposed by the Warren Commission.
All right, so the main point of, because I am JFK conspiracy guy 101, right? Regardless of getting lost in the details of what bullets were, at the end of the day, this disproves the magic bullet theory, which is the only way that the Warren Commission could prove that there was one shooter.
Because if you don't have the magic bullet,
you cannot have
Oswald acting alone.
Correct.
It's not possible.
Not humanly possible. And so, and I've told you this.
And so the theory is, and so Landis, so that you understand, not you, but the people, Landis was on Jacqueline Kennedy's detail. He was just 28 years old.
Yep.
He and Clint Hill were the first 2 people. Clint Hill is the agent that very famously jumped on top of the back of Kennedy's limousine to push Jackie Kennedy back into the seat as she was trying to scramble to retrieve a piece of her husband's brain or skull that had been blown off onto the back, or she thought onto the back. She obviously was in shock. When they got to the hospital, she was cradling her husband in her lap, and she was in shock. Clearly, she's a human being.
Right.
And they were trying to persuade her to let the president go so that they could get him out of the car. She, in that moment, didn't want anyone, and the scene was described as chaos. People driving in, it was not secure, it was nuts. And Hill took his suit jacket off, wrapped it around the president's head, and got him onto the stretcher. Landis, as they got Jacqueline out and into the hospital, looked into the back of the limo, thinking of his thought was, we have to preserve this scene. This is obviously a crime scene. This is evidence.
Right.
And he saw the bullet. His theory is that the bullet, undercharged, also struck Kennedy's back brace, which is one of the things that some people theorize prevented it from doing more damage to Kennedy's torso.
Right.
Obviously, he was killed by the headshot.
Right.
But the magic bullet theory is that the bullet went through Kennedy, basically took sort of a turn through Connolly, and then through Connolly's wrist and into Connolly's leg. I'm not a forensics person.
Right.
I don't know whether a bullet can do that or not. It feels far-fetched. But that was the theory that was basically constructed by the Warren Commission. But the only way that conceivably works is if that pristine bullet did all of that. You can't have that bullet do all of that
And then end up in the back seat.
and then end up on the back seat. The other theory is when they moved, Kennedy never got off his stretcher. He was dead.
Right.
Connolly, on the other hand, survived. They moved him from his stretcher, which was right next to Kennedy's. The hallway was an absolute circus in a morbid way. When they moved Connolly off of his stretcher to an operating table, the theory is that the stretchers were right next to each other and it moved from one stretcher to the other.
Yeah. Well, for those of you that are new, I went to, was it last summer, a year and a half ago, I guess now, we went to the UFC fight in Dallas. And me and my son visited the State School Depository in Dallas and did the whole tour and went and stood in the grassy knoll and went and stood behind the fence. And I've told you, and I'll tell everybody, after going and visiting that and seeing the actual myself standing where the supposed second shooter was in Daley Plaza, as opposed to standing right next to where Lee Harvey Oswald shot out, you're patronizing me as a human being, telling me that there was only one shooter. You're patronizing me. Because if you look from where the supposed, and all the conspiracy, where the second shooter would be shooting from, and they have the smudges and they see people, all the theories, the car, you cannot see the cars coming down the street because there is a concrete barrier in the way. Once you look to where you would say, okay, you can now just see the cars clearing that concrete barrier, that's where the X is. So I'm in 100% believement, in my opinion, in the Tyler Siskey conspiracy theory, that there was a second shooter on the grassy knoll that waited for his car to clear. And, if you watch the movie JFK, you hear him say back and to the right. That front shot came from the grassy knoll. I'm 100% convinced of that. And now with this guy coming out and saying that takes away that guarantees a second shooter. If what he's saying is accurate. I don't know why he would be 88 years old and lie.
Yeah, I mean, the people that are trying to shoot down his story are saying that he's doing it. He's writing his memoirs, that he's doing it for money. So he waited 60 years.
Yeah.
He waited till he's 88
to make money.
I mean, come on.
I just
feels like someone wanted to clear his conscience.
Yeah, I believe so too. So that's all I got today, boss.
We should try to get him on the show, Mr. Landis.
I wonder if he'd do it.
I mean, we could try. I've reached out to Clint Hill several times. He's never responded.
How do you reach out to that guy?
Social media. I've also reached out to his literary person.
Oh, that would be get him.
That'd be fine. I mean, I would goob out.
Get David Beatty on the same show.
The human part of it is about reading about Landis. He quit 6 months after the assassination because he was still on Jackie Kennedy's detail and he just could not handle all of the mourning anymore.
I mean, I get it. All
right, we will stop there. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Again, we brought to you by Rain. Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolyte, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
And I want to thank everybody in the Cooper Chevrolet chat. Our guy Bob, actually, from Monster, was in the Cooper Chevrolet chat today. And remind everyone that during September, you can get 3.9% financing for 72 months on the new Chevy Silverado crew cabs and no payments for 90 days. Anywhere you're located, they'll take care of you. Go visit cooperchevrolet.com.
For Tyler Siskey, I'm Neal McCready. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Talk to you soon. Bye.